Satin Doll by Duke Ellington is such a great first jazz standard to learn. So once you're comfortable with the blues, this is probably the next best place to go, is learn Satin Doll. You're going to find tons of recordings by all the great jazz musicians. You're going to be able to take it to a jam session. The thing I like about it is it has fairly simple harmonies. So once you understand 2-5-1s, or even just 2-5s in lots of different keys, you can just drop them all in this tune. The other thing that's nice about this tune is it's a standard 32 bar form. So it's an A-A-B-A form. And this form is used in lots of standards. So you'll be able to take that sense of form, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, and apply it to lots of other tunes. Anyway, I hope you enjoy learning Satin Doll. So let's start by going over the form. So you'll see I have it up there on the screen, and it's 8 bars, and then it repeats 8 bars, and then you have the bridge 8 bars, and then it goes back to the beginning. I chopped it off on the screen, but it goes back to the beginning, just does those top 8 bars again. Now occasionally when you hear people, I listen to a bunch of recordings, Oscar Peterson, Joe Pass, Duke Ellington, and those final 2 bars of those 8 bar sections sometimes change, sometimes don't. Sometimes they play the exact same thing. So it'll vary, depend on who you're listening to. But we'll just play them the same just to keep it simple. So what you see here, you see D minor going to G dominant. So that's a 2-5-1. So hopefully you've practiced lots of 2-5-1s, circle of fifths kinds of stuff. If not, here's your opportunity. So 2-5-1 in C, except we don't go to the C. So that's the trick. You have a bunch of 2-5s that don't resolve to the 1 properly. So 2-5-1 normally, but it just goes 2-5-2-5, and it doesn't resolve to C, but it resolves to E. Okay, so that's first 4 measures. Second 4 measures, we're going to change that A dominant to minor. Another 2-5, right? Went from the A dominant, make it minor. Now that's a 2. Okay? 2-5. And then here's a trick. So a nice like tritone substitution sounding thing. Not exactly, but the D7, the D flat 7 is like a G dominant tritone sub. So if you see that, it has the B and the F. If you take a D flat dominant, also has a B and an F. So it resolves in a very similar way. Okay? And then you can do a fill here. I just did some kind of bass line thing. So sometimes they'll just go to a G, just like if you were going to go back to the C chord, or alternately like the real book, or sometimes you'll hear people go. So like a 2-5 back to D. So that's another alternate. I just like to stay in C. Let's just keep it simple. But it can get kind of boring if you just stay on C. So do something. So either walk or put in a little lick. Some kind of fill there. So, you know, Duke Ellington's going to have some horns or something, play a fill. So you have those 2 major fills. So that's the first 8 bars. 2-5s in C, 2-5s in D major, 2-5 G, 2-5 in G flat. Right? That would be G flat, but it resolves to C instead. Okay, so there's the first half. Okay, the bridge. Again, more 2-5s. And again, you have 2 measures of 1 chord, so you're going to have to figure out something to do with it. Some guys play like a 1-6-2-5-1. Something like that. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. Or Duke Ellington in the original recording, right? Just that. Just camps out on F. Does this weird kind of parallel thing. Okay, so there's F. Then we're going to go 2 5s. In G. And then we're not going to go to G. We're going to go to G7, right? And then, again, you'll see a variety of ways to do it. I like to just go down. Then, and then you're home free. So 8, 8, 8, 8, right? These A, B, A. So that's the form. A bunch of 2 5s. So let's practice voicings and managing through the form, kind of like I've done in my circle fifths and in the blues courses. So, root, third, seventh. Let's go through just the first 8 bars this way. Let's just do half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the first 8 bars. So, once you can do that, maybe add rhythm. Let's do a Charleston rhythm. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. That kind of thing. So you notice the second time through, I kind of varied it. 1 and 2 and. 1, 2 and. So you can play around with it. Ba, ba, boo, da, ba, da, ba. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba. That kind of idea. Okay, so once you can do that, root, third, seventh. Do it just like you've done some of the other things I've given you. Go through the tune, but add more notes. You can add the 5th. At the 9th, that kind of thing. Okay, and then you can practice the rotation here. Okay, that kind of idea. So that's root, then some kind of shell in the right hand. Next thing, do what you did in the right hand in the left hand. So let's walk through that. Let's do it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, D. Okay, so if that's too much, just do third and seventh. That's going to sound kind of weird. It's going to sound very empty, and you're going to think, I know I did when I was first learning this. It's like, what use does that have? But it really helps you think through how to navigate those chords, even though it doesn't sound like something right now, because eventually you could add the melody once you're comfortable with that. Let's see here. That kind of thing, right? And now it's starting to sound like something. So you can't do bass, this root, and the melody, right? It's hard to do 3 things at once. You kind of get to pick 2, right? You can do bass note, shell, melody. You could kind of get away with something like this that I did in the intro video. So you can combine shell with melody here. That's kind of a closed block position style. So those are some different ways of practicing the voicings, shells, through the form. So I would go through the bridge. I didn't do the bridge, but you should be able to manage the bridge. It's basically the same kinds of things, just in F major, and some of the chords are almost exactly the same. So if you found that useful, I have more on Satin Doll on my website. I cover how to do this in stride piano style, how to do it in block chords in the style of Oscar Peterson, Red Garland, and also how to use Bud Powell voicing. So more material kind of goes more in depth in this stuff. And of course, there's lots of other material on there while you're at it. So I hope you had fun learning Satin Doll. See you next time.